Low-cost airlines are known for cramming as many tiny seats as they can into their planes. In today's video, we're flying on board one of the most densely configured Airbus A321s in the world. And what makes this experience unique is that we're not even flying from a particularly big city. Our journey takes us from Bloomington, Illinois to Denver, Colorado with Frontier Airlines. It's going to be quite a unique experience, so I'm glad you're joining me, and let's get started. It's a beautiful yet windy afternoon here at Central Illinois Regional Airport. As is the norm when flying budget airlines, I had checked in online the day before and proceeded straight to TSA pre-check when walking in. The airport is currently undergoing a renovation that sees new floor tiling being installed, and so far it looks quite nice. As expected, pre-check was completed within 2 minutes. Even though there were 3 flights departing within the next hour, all 3 of them were delayed, so most of the passengers were already waiting at the gates. Our flight today is Frontier 3277 to Denver, and it's been delayed due to high winds in Denver that had been causing problems in the days leading up as well. Despite the delay, Frontier kept us updated with text messages and emails, which I really appreciated. But can I just take a minute to ask, who is doing the math over at Frontier? Because if our original departure time was 4:57 and our new departure was 6:20, then how does that mean our delay is 1 minute long? Frontier recently resumed seasonal service between Denver and Bloomington, operating a mix of Airbus A320neo, A321, and A321neos on these flights. Frontier's 230-seat A321 and the 240-seat A321neos are the biggest passenger planes that have ever served this airport regularly. That's a pretty big deal to me as someone who grew up flying from here, and so experiencing this novelty was exactly the reason why I booked this flight. But 230 to 240 passengers, that's a lot of people, especially from this airport. And so leading up to this flight, I was wondering just how many people would be on board. Of course, it's currently the low season for skiing over in Colorado, which is one of the main driving factors behind this route. As such, the flight, as expected, was going out very empty. I took a big chance today and brought my full-size backpack along for the first time on a Frontier flight. Frontier allows each passenger one free personal item that must fit these dimensions. Now, I've taken this backpack on Spirit before and never had any issues, so I wanted to try my chances with Frontier. Now, Frontier strictly polices the personal item policy, so much so that a gate agent was checking every possible bag and having passengers put their bags in the sizer before boarding. Thankfully, my backpack fit the personal item requirements and I boarded without issue. Now, if you are sure that you will need to bring a proper carry-on or checked bag, then 100% you must pay for these items while booking your flight because they will surely get more expensive later on. Frontier's Airbus A321 seats 230 passengers in an all-economy layout. Both Frontier and Wizz Air's A321s seat 230 people, making them the densest configured A321s in the entire world. This is just 2 seats more than the 228 that Spirit's Airbus A321 seats that I had flown on 2 months earlier. Today, I'll be seated in 30A towards the back of the aircraft, and the seats aren't anything special, just the usual bare-bones budget airline seats. The seat back is also pretty bare, just including the flip-down table, if you can even call it a table, but also a full-size seat pocket with the usual contents. The seat pitch is 28 inches, and at 5'11", I didn't feel very tight, but that's because I had the entire row to myself, so my backpack wasn't directly in front. If you do have a bag in front, then it would definitely feel kind of tight. Finally, above the seats are the standard passenger service units. Now, it's worth noting that I selected seat 30A for a specific reason. Originally, this flight was booked on an A321neo, and the seat map leading up to this flight showed the 321neo seat map. As you can see, 30A is one of the standard economy seats that has unlimited legroom because of the exit row in front. I selected this seat for a solid $19 extra and was really looking forward to covering this. Unfortunately, the flight ended up being operated by a standard A321, which sort of makes sense because the Neo has 10 extra seats and this flight was super empty anyway. Now, seat 30A on the regular A321 is just like any normal seat, as you can see here, so unfortunately I lost out on the unlimited legroom, but that was compensated in part by getting a full row to myself.
Please take a moment to locate your nearest exits, keeping in mind they might be behind you. In the event of an emergency evacuation, please leave behind all your carry-on belongings. Should there be a loss of cabin pressure, oxygen masks will drop from the overhead compartments throughout the cabin and inside all lavatories.
Out of the west at 25, gusting to about 40 miles per hour. It's slowly coming down. We will get some chop out of the Bloomington area and also a little more chop into the Denver area. But as the night proceeds, the air cools down and the ride gets better. 53 degrees in Denver. Due to the strong winds, all the aircraft are giving up departure times. They give us a departure time of about 15 minutes, 15 minutes. We should be able to have you airborne. And if that changes, we'll let you know. Once again, welcome aboard.
What's that? What's that? What's that?
The in-flight service was the usual budget airline style. The flight attendants came through offering drinks and snacks for purchase and were very attentive to all passengers. There's no Wi-Fi or power outlets on Frontier, so be sure to keep this in mind when you fly them. I spent the flight lounging out across the 3 seats and trying to take a nap. As someone who grew up in central Illinois, I never thought I would ever see the day when I'd be flying an Airbus A321 from one of our small airports. Anyway, our approach into Denver brought us past the airport on downwind before making a 180 and landing from the south onto runway 35 right. My total one-way ticket price today was just shy of $48, by far the cheapest ticket I've ever booked out of Bloomington. The initial airfare was $29, but seat selection was another $19, therefore bringing the price up. Now, judging by how empty this flight was, you could argue that seat selection wasn't worth it in the end, but of course I didn't know that beforehand. Despite the delay that was totally out of Frontier's control, the crew was very efficient and attentive. So overall, it was a pretty cool experience, and as you'll see shortly, it was about to get a little bit cooler, both figuratively and literally.
Folks, Inflight Deck's captain speaking. We're just short of the gate. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened. Just waiting for the ramp crew to get in position. Thank you.
Our flight arrived into the east side of the A gates, meaning we would be deplaning via stairs into the brisk mountain weather. This was my first time at this part of Denver Airport, and it was a pretty welcome surprise being able to deplane this way. Now, because of our delay, I missed my next flight out of Denver, so stay tuned for next week's video to find out what happens next. Until then, I'll see you later, so take care and goodbye.